Who's Adam? Who are you?
What the hell are you talking about? It's me.
The last time you played a game that made you genuinely uncomfortable? I don't mean jump scares, I mean stories that make you think, like Karma, The Dark World, for instance. Stories so dark that stick with you long after you take off the headset. That's exactly what happened to me with Of Lies and Rain. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a new VR game made by Castello Inc., which is an Italian indie team made by 5 people. I let this sink for a moment. They gave me an early copy, thank you guys, of their game, which just released on Steam, on Meta and soon on PS Store. However, you can try the demo on all of these platforms, which is something really rare and super cool for a VR game. The first thing that hits you isn't the story or the gameplay, it's the absence of green. And that's intentional. Nature has been defeated, mercury everywhere, toxic rains, and humans, the remaining humans, live underground. And the colors, the color palette makes sure you don't forget it. Everything is red, black and blue, exactly like their first game, ARK&ADE, which is tied to this one, and ideally they should do a third title to complete the trilogy.
Just clouds.
Look at this, their style is beautiful. It's storytelling through colors. It's oppressive, it's sad, but so amazing and unique. Look.
I guess not.
Were you hoping for a different answer?
Obviously, it's not perfect. Some textures are a little washed out. I'd have loved to see more special effects, like, for instance, when the train falls down, but overall is really gorgeous.
We've all been through it. After years locked in the shelters, surviving the bombings, the hunger, the violence.
Okay, so the story is this. You play as Adam, which is a data form, hybrids created fusing human DNA with dark energy. And Adam lost his memory and is guided over the radio by Samantha, Sam, which is one of the leaders of the resistance of these last humans against the ADE, which is a powerful AI dominating the planet. We are in 2048, I think. This AI was developed by a super rich guy to save the world, then realized humans are a virus for the planet and sold weapons to every government to prove it. As expected, we destroyed ourselves, and that's why the world is like this.
A virus. Human beings are a disease. A cancer of this planet. You are a plague.
Meanwhile, in these years of war, there's a growing hybridation between artificial and natural. AI evolves creating biomechanical plants, insects, even xenoform-like eggs. And humans try to fuse this dark energy with DNA, the Project Eden. And this is one of the darkest parts. They kidnapped kids from families, though they paid the families really well, which makes it even more disturbing, and did those fusion experiments on them. Adam arrives years after, when everything has been abandoned. There's a school, then a medical building, where he discovers what happened to the failed experiments. And it's heartbreaking, it's very, very sad. Now, Adam is one of those death forms and infiltrates to reach the core of this evil AI while recovering his memories in the process. And I don't want to spoil too much. It's a great story with a lot of references and a lot of diary notes which you find along the game, with many details on the survivors' lives, mini stories, the ravings of the evil guy. Beautiful. It's not super original. I mean, the rogue AI, the digitalization of consciousness, humans are viruses, and so on. So it's not new, but it's written very well. If you like stories, take your time to watch the many details of this game. Okay, but all of this, visuals, story, voice acting, great voice acting, would be nothing without a decent gameplay. Okay, let's just say we are almost at Half-Life Alyx level, even on Quest, which is incredible. In general, Half-Life is the main reference of this game, but always remember, made with a tiny fraction of that money and that workforce. This tiny team threw in its game physics and interactions that are almost at AAA level. You got the jelly fingers, jelly independent fingers, like in Batman, great liquids inside bottles. Almost every drawer or cabinet can be opened, even with tools. Look at this. And almost every object can be picked up and examined. Now, not everything is perfect. For instance, you can grab cigarettes and lighter, but you can't use them. And convergence is made by a single guy. You break the usual wooden crates, but your gravity grab is too weak to pull the content out of the splints. So you have to crouch and clean with your hand. However, it's a bit weird, but nothing really immersion breaking, and surely they can fix this. For the rest, enemies and weapons, the enemies are very good, even if sometimes a little too easy to kill. And they are the greatest tribute to Half-Life, especially the spiders jumping to your face like the head crabs, and the robotic barnacles that come from the ceiling. I think they even used some original audio samples for their sounds. And also the weapons are super good. Weight, reloading, the clips from the shoulder, you even select them like in Alyx. So what's better than this? We feel at home. Okay, however, this is only half of the game. Of Lies and Rain isn't just a shooter. During the game, Adam has to dive into cyberspaces called data worlds to open new passages or collect material for upgrades and so on. Here the game transforms into something beautiful, with the same style but very different, which could be an entire game on its own. Suddenly you feel like in Tron, fighting the AI on its home turf, which is a huge platformer. You do mega jumps, you teleport, you enter gravity tunnels, you shoot, you dodge over those giant blocks, suspended over the void. Here, sometimes you need strong VR legs, especially when a giant worm is chasing you, destroying those blocks. They are like the sandworms in Dune, but red and designed in wireframe. Okay, this has been one of my major concerns. And it's also my fault, because initially I thought you should grab every cube and kill every enemy to open the exit. Too late, I realized it's not mandatory. You only have to destroy the infecting roots, let's call them, and then you can go away. Well, now you know, to me, it's been very frustrating. There are too many cyberspace levels, and they become much harder as long as you progress. I died a huge lot. So, it was also my skill issue. The game doesn't explain you very well, and I still think there are too many. But now you know you can skip some of them, or however, learn the mechanics and then exit. You don't have to suffer. But the thing I really didn't like was the audio. The main track is beautiful. The AI slop in the final credits, not so much. But in-game, I miss the soundtrack more present, which builds tension, especially on the hardest fights. But the main problem is that there's no footstep sounds. And it feels weird, especially when walking on pools of black slime, which slows you. You should hear swoosh, 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 and instead, no, nothing. However, surely there will be a patch to fix it. Maybe it's already out when you see this video. Okay, to end the complaining part, the last problem is that you can't run nor jump, even from a ledge that's half a meter high. But I think I understood the reason. It's a technical solution. When you grab something climbable, I don't know if it's a word, but you understand, your character enters in a different state, which follows different rules. For instance, you can sneak through narrow passageways only when grabbing. It's a way to keep you on track, even if sometimes it's a little too much, honestly. So it's a matter of taste. Some can find it limiting and thus go everywhere looking for invisible walls. The others simply enjoy the game the way it's intended. I know that complaining makes more views, but I'm more a positive guy. I am black belt of suspension of disbelief. like a child, I'm constantly amazed by VR and the work of those artists, even in much simpler games. Usually I'm more inclined to love what I have rather than think of what it could be. Okay. So, Of Lies and Rain is not perfect. but it's beautiful. It is the classic blender where you throw The Matrix, Tron, Half-Life, Alien, Dune, Batman, Stargate, even Nokia Snake, but with a unique style, a unique greenless style, which keeps everything together. If you like those games, you have to try the demo. It's free, it's available on all platforms, it's more than 1 hour of gameplay, and the final game is around 10 times longer, so it's not so short. To me, it's one of the best indie VR games. In 2025, for the algorithm. Okay guys, links are below. Thanks for watching. Like if you like, maybe subscribe, and see you next time.
I can see it, Sam.
What?
The sun.
Oh. How is it?
It's beautiful. You'd love it here. I guess we found our hanging spot.
Yeah.